So we'll look at a couple of examples. So what can you do? Well, we're going to look at some partial site enhancements that are mini applications and tools that can change the way that your site operates. We're going to look at site add-ons so that you can see how you can extend beyond your browser to the desktop type thing. We'll look at front-end revamps and how you can give a little bit of a facelift to the site that you've got today and to make some modifications to that. And then we'll just touch on full site revamps. Partial site enhancements, what's really interesting is there's a lot of these popping up. We saw the configurator from Hummer. This is another example of this type of product configurator. I've seen them from different paint stores. I've seen them from different fashion stores where you can build and create your own environment. So what's interesting about this one from Shaw is it's an award-winning application. It's beautifully designed. It allows you to take one of their rooms or to take your own room and upload a photo and to be able to customize the color of the walls, to be able to change the flooring. On this one, you can change the accessories color. And you can then choose from a variety of different products and apply those to the room. So you can see, you can visualize how a similar room or how even your own room could look with this type of setup. And then you can go to directly buy all of these items online. So it gives a good sense of what things would look like. So this is a great application and something that can be easily added as a mini application to your website without changing the whole way that you operate. If you look at the Shaw website beyond this application, it's a fairly typical e-commerce site. So this is something that they've added in to change the experience. Another example of a fairly typical e-commerce site is Oli, which is a fashion retailer. And what they were running into from a challenge from a business perspective is they were running into many sales, but many single unit sales. People were logging on and buying a pair of pants or a jacket or a pair of boots, but they weren't selling outfits. So what they did is they created something called a lookbook. So when you're on the site, you can just click and you can add something. Well, you can add something to your lookbook in a single click or drag it. This lookbook appears down at the bottom of your shopping screen. So you can just drag things into the toolbar and you're able to then open your lookbook and build outfits out of the items that are in your collection. And in a single click, you can either buy the full collection, you can buy certain portions of it, you can even send your lookbook to a friend so that you can do something what we would call community shopping. So you can share your results with a friend and get opinions on outfits. So they saw a huge increase in unit sales when they rolled this application out. And again, that's part of a very typical e-commerce site, but just a small thing that made a huge difference to business results. This is another example of something called a site add-on, and this is a small desktop application that communicates with eBay. So if you've ever bought anything on eBay, you know the process of finding an item you're interested in and watching that item until the auction closes. What you can do here is you can find items on your desktop, and this sits on your desktop, and it's partially connected to the internet, so it updates on a regular basis. And it can track items for you and notify you if you've been outbid on an item. So it's a great little tool to help enhance the shopping experience. In a similar mindset, this is a catalog application which uses the same type of technology from a company called Anthropology. And what this company does is they are in the fashion retail space. So they allow you to go on and have basically a desktop e-catalog that you can browse through, you can search through, you can sort by color, you can change by different types of items, and then you can add these to a shopping bag and then go online to make a purchase. So it's kind of like a wardrobing and browsing application that sits on the desktop. And these applications like the eBay one and the Anthropology offline catalog, what's really neat about them is that they're leveraging a new technology that's coming out very shortly called Adobe Air. And that will really expand the opportunities for retailers to take advantage of offline shopping and to take shopping out of the browser and into different other channels. What's really interesting as well is what we call a front-end revamp. So just to think of your e-commerce site, if you break that down into 3 specific layers, you've got the presentation layer, which controls what your consumers are seeing. You've got the business process and services layer, and then you've got your technology layer. If you have a site that's built on what we call a service-oriented architecture, so it's very modular, it's possible to just isolate this presentation layer and build on a new application that controls the display of information. So what we're talking about is taking a site that looks like this, that's very typical open source. It's something from Zencart that is a kind of plug and play tool that you can get your site up and running very quickly, and changing it into this type of style where you've got the ability to drag and drop products into a compare items box. You're able to drag them directly into the shopping cart. You're able to narrow down your search based on sliders. And it's a very interactive and rich experience. So that can be done just by simply changing the presentation layer of a site. And that's one of the areas to look at. And when we talk about a full site revamp, Nike is really the poster child for this initiative. They went through a huge change in how they sold products last year, maybe a year and a half ago now, and changed the entire site that they have. So when you used to go on Nike, you used to be able to sort by like, hey, I'm looking for running shoes or I'm looking for sneakers. And sneakers could be running shoes, they could be walking shoes, they could be softball shoes. There were all kinds of different categories. Now you go in and you sort by sport, or you sort by women's or men's, and you drill down into the information and you see a really visual representation of the goods. There's huge pictures and there's rollovers with more product information, so you can just look at items. They've changed the whole way they sell products, so that's a very radical full site revamp. And certainly a site revamp is an expensive endeavor and it's a timely endeavor. But what we're concentrating more on today is those three other elements where you can add on widgets and mini apps and things to make your shopping experience enhanced without necessarily starting from scratch. So we do have one polling question. We have just a couple of minutes left here in the presentation, and then we're going to jump into some Q&A, and I think we've got a few questions lined up from different folks. From what I've showed today, what I'd like to know is, out of these items, which ones are the most interesting to you? So partial site revamp, add-ons. You could just take a second and provide your opinion. So that's pretty rough breakdown there, but certainly partial site enhancements and front enhancements and add-ons are all of equal interest. So that's great. We can definitely address any questions you may have in the Q&A session. So we'll move on to the next portion. So when we're talking about the items that we've looked at, there's a few different ways you can achieve these objectives from a technology perspective. And I know we just have a couple minutes left, so I'll touch on these briefly. You can look down the path of custom-built solutions where you can say, I want this, and you work with a provider to help build something specifically for your requirements and your requests. That's one path. It's certainly one that you'll be sure you'll get exactly what you're looking for, but they can be a little bit more time-consuming if you go with something completely custom-built, and they can be a little more expensive. There are also commercial software solutions for many of the things we say that will help you get to where you're going, but it may require some expertise within your own team, and it may require a little bit of juggling to try to get everything to talk to each other and to work. One thing that we very strongly recommend with our clients is a combination solution that takes some custom developed elements, some commercial software, some open source solutions to build something that leverages all the common code that you can, but customizes things specific to your requirements. So this is where working with a partner can help you achieve these types of enhancements to your site very quickly. What we would start with, and what most partners would start with, is a metrics analysis and an action plan. So looking at what you have today and what the challenges you're encountering are, and how to move forward. And from there, moving forward could involve creating an application, integrating certain elements into your site, or doing a bit of a front-end revamp. So we're on to next steps. So what I'm going to do is provide you, now don't worry about scrambling to write these all down, because we'll certainly send a link to these particular demos in our follow-up for you today. So these are some of the examples that we presented, and some of the links if you want to take a look at them. They will be provided in our follow-up as well. And next steps, just in terms of additional information on these topics, if you'd like a deeper dive into rich internet applications and a little bit more information about what they are, we have a white paper specifically on that. And we also have a white paper that accompanies today's session, which is Enhancing E-commerce ROI through Rich Internet Applications. And both of those are available on our website in the white paper section. We also have additional webinars that happen usually about on a monthly basis. So if there's another topic that may be interesting to you, we generally do one on a regular basis on rich internet applications, because that's something that quite a few of our folks have interest in. We also will probably be repeating this rich e-commerce session, and we also have some on e-libraries if you happen to be in the business of selling content. That may be of interest to you as well. And feel free to contact us if you have anything to discuss or any additional questions. So we are now on to the Q&A portion of our session today. So Rim, are you on the line with us?